What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Real Bodybuilding Podcast. I'm here with AJ Ellison. This is episode number 33, and my man was cool enough to come on and answer some questions about a different lifestyle that we're not used to. So what's going on, AJ? How are you?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on the show. I'm glad to be here, man. I'm ready to chit-chat about whatever you want to talk about.
All right. So your manager contacted me a little while back and said that he thought we should get together and have a discussion because there's a lot of interesting stuff going on in your life. I took a look at your Instagram. There's a lot of cool stuff. So you started in track and field, you've done some MMA, and now you landed on the bodybuilding stage, but as a classic or physique competitor. Where are you now with that?
Yeah, your question. I mean, I don't know. I really don't. I know we chit-chatted a little bit earlier if we jumped on. I feel like I'm kind of I have an in-between physique. And last year was a rehab year for me where I got the stem cell injections in my knees, where they drilled holes in my back or in my hip, drew out the bone marrow, spun it in the centrifuge, and then injected the stem cells in both quad tendons in right and left leg. So it put me out for a while. I'm still out. I don't think I'll ever be 100% pain-wise. So I think that's going to have a bit of an effect on what I can do with my legs.
Okay.
That's the reality of it. But it doesn't mean it's game over. It just means going back to the drawing board and being smart and trying to figure out a way to train. Well, before when I was younger, put more weight on. 5 more pounds, 10 more pounds. That's it. That's all I knew, how to increase intensity. Now I'm like, okay, I'm a little bit older, a little bit wiser. Let's work around some things now and just use drop sets, supersets, compound sets, giant sets, tempo, whatever. Just anything besides just stacking on the weight.
Yeah. And when I look back, you used to run track. So when did you actually start training with weights?
Immediately after I was done with my track and field career at 21, 22.
Oh, so you ran track like as a young, like in your teen years?
I ran in college and I ran professionally for a couple of seasons afterwards, qualified for Olympic trials, which is like a lifetime ago, back in 2000. It's 20 years ago. That's crazy.
Did you go to the Olympics?
No, I didn't make it, man.
I thought you said you qualified for it.
Yeah, I qualified for Olympic trials, and it's competitive, man. Track and field is probably the biggest sport in the world. I mean, everybody's running track because it didn't cost much to run around an oval, so the entire world is involved in this sport. So it's super competitive, and I was blessed enough to make it that far. Suffered an injury, and then then I started working for the real. I went to the real world. I was a IT recruiter for a while, healthcare recruiter, did pharmaceutical sales. But I just didn't feel like I felt like that wasn't my life. There was something more for me. So I did what I was supposed to do. I work well. I'm a hard worker, politic really good, but you do just enough because I wasn't passionate about anything I was doing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I found bodybuilding and I realized why I was so good at track and field in the first place. It's that one key element. Like, same person. It's just when someone's passionate about something, they're down to do all the mundane chores and tasks on a daily basis that most people won't mess with.
That's right.
I can't be bothered by that.
I noticed that a lot of people that have a previous sports history that find bodybuilding kind of find it because they need a competitive outlet, or they need something to channel that energy that's still there from the previous sport they were in.
100%. Going to the gym by itself, that's not fun for me. But when you have competitions lined up, in each workout, every set has a purpose. And I don't think it's necessarily the bodybuilding itself, because when you do get on stage, it's not up to your skill sets. It's not up to you at all. Yeah. You're being judged, and it's a subjective sport. You have to understand that. And if you're okay with that, then you can have a really long career in the sport. And for me, it's business as well. I got out of the corporate world, and I feel like you have to do this, especially this day and age. If you're going to be in the sport and you're serious about it and you want to be here for a while, if you're just chasing medals, you ain't gonna make it. You have to have a business mindset about it. You got to have a good, strong head on the shoulders, right? Your mind has to be just as strong as your body. You got to take the L's when they come, and then you work around the shows, network, right? Meet the right key people, and then build a business on top of that, so you can sustain yourself in the sport. You're dumping all your money into it. It's expensive, right? Yeah. A lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money, and not a lot of people don't get anything back from it besides like a plastic trophy or whatever.
Yeah.
So you got to have a good head on your shoulders if you want to stay in this industry for a while.
Yeah. No, I like what you're saying, because I preach the business of bodybuilding a lot on this podcast, because I was bad at it when I was younger, and it took me a long time to realize that the business of bodybuilding is what's going to sustain you afterwards. So you were track, and then you did some corporate world stuff, and then you got into bodybuilding kind of at the same time.
Towards the end, yeah. So I was doing the jiu-jitsu MMA stuff while I was working corporate. My last gig, I was with Sprint, which is like, I guess you guys is Rogers up here in Canada.
Yeah, yeah.
I was a test engineer for them. I had a pretty cool gig. Now I was contracted out to EA. It makes all the EA sports.
Yeah.
I was basically contracted out to them to test all their games on the freaking handsets.
That's awesome.
Sprint. Yeah, it was dope, right? So it's almost like a modern day grandma. Is it Grandma's Boy? But I don't know if you've seen the movie, but they're video game testers.
Yeah.
It's like a modern day version of that, and I I'd test all their games. If it was error free, I put it out on the network for customers to download, and that was my gig. I was doing that and doing the jiu-jitsu and MMA at the same time. So I did that for about a decade. And at 35, I told me I had a nasty tricep tear.
Yeah,
and that's what made me rethink.
Wow. So you're like, you have as many injuries as I do. So what was the injury that took you out of running?
So with that one, I was overtraining. There is a such thing as overtraining.
I know. I agree.
I found out the hard way. And I thought the more I put into it, the more I'm going to get. Because I saw a really big jump from my junior to senior year. Mm-hmm. And after my senior year, I moved to Arkansas for about 7 months to train for Olympic trials. And I was training twice a day, every day. I was working at some mental health place. I was a tech there, and I helped them piece together exercise programs for the kids that were there. Okay. So I did that midday. I trained in the morning, come back and train in the evening. I was probably running 85 miles a week just to run 2 laps on the track. Yeah. Which 85 miles a week, for the people that don't know, that's like marathon training.
Yeah.
that mileage. So I was I was a strong runner as opposed to a really, really fast runner. Mm-hmm. So I just hold my top end speed just a lot longer. And then to do that, you have to push the mileage.
Yeah.
It sucked.
What was it that took you out though? What was it that finally kind of broke in your life?
My blood count. So I became anemic, and I was exhausted. The doctors would give me chromogen pills, B12 shots, and I felt like I was out of shape. Going up and down a flight of steps was like a chore, and so it just shut my year down. Yeah. And similar to bodybuilding with track and field, it's not like the NBA, NFL. If you're a pro and you're not racing, you're not winning, you're not coming in top 3, getting that cash prize, you're broke.
That's right.
So
yeah, that's right.
Those guys in Olympic sports also have to work a full-time job as well, unless they get the right sponsorships. Yeah. So it's good for the top 3 guys in the country. Yeah. But if you're in the second wave from 5th to 10th, you have to work. You got to do your full-time job and do extra to catch up with the guys in the top 3 that get all the sponsorships.
Yeah, it's crazy. You mentioned in the middle of that, you mentioned MMA. So I'm a huge MMA fan, and I don't know. I haven't done it myself, so I'm not sitting here pretending I'm a fighter. But I love watching the sport. Where does that come from? You go from running to MMA, where you just is it a mental thing? Are you an angry person? Do you like to fight? Like, what is it? How do you decide you want to do MMA?
I don't know if it was the jiu-jitsu that got me to cross over. I did jiu-jitsu first for about 7 years first. Okay. And instead of getting punched and kicked in the face, it didn't quite start that way. But I'm a competitive person.
That's right.
What I've noticed with all the sports that I picked, they're very individual sports where the effort that I put in is going to determine what happens on the weekend or whatever when I compete, not the team. Nobody's carrying me. I'm not sitting on the sideline calling timeout. It's me. If you ain't got it, you ain't got it that day. Yeah. So I think that's what I like about it, the competitive aspect of it, and going into sport jiu-jitsu and competing with the gi, and then competing in the no gi where the action's a lot faster because you don't have the traditional gi to slow you down. Yeah. I realized I like that better. It was a faster. I like to scramble a lot more athletic. So when I started doing the no gi stuff, I'm like, man, I'm always throwing the MMA because this is what it is without the punching and kicking. Let's go ahead and add that in. I did Okinawa Kempo when I was living in Japan as a kid. Okay. So the striking part of it was I was interested in as well. Yeah. So I thought after 7 years of doing the grappling, start mixing some of the striking and see what I could do.
Yeah. So how long was your MMA career?
3. I just 3 years, and that was it. And then by the time I was 35, tore my tricep, and then I sat down somewhere.
Did you tear your tricep in a fight or in the gym?
Training. Okay. I was doing judo twice a week, jiu-jitsu twice a week, and then kickboxing twice a week. On top of that, I was doing my conditioning. I was working full time. So I think I just ran myself into the ground. Yeah. And when I heard it tear, it sounded like I tore my t-shirt. But my t-shirt was fine.
I had the same thing. You can see the scar.
Yes. And then it takes a couple. You don't feel it right away. You hear it first.
Yeah.
And it takes a few seconds, and then you feel this heat come in.
Yep.
Right. And then the inflammation. Right. And then the next day, the bruise was from my armpit all the way down to my wrist.
Yeah.
And it looked like I had a breast implant hanging from my guys ran to the liquor store next door to grab an ice pack for me, man. I was bummed out, man. To be honest with you, that set me down in a bit of a spiral. I was 34, 35, still kind of immature. I've always been athletic. I've always been competitive. But my issue was I was always self-destructive when shit went bad. When shit went sideways, it didn't go my way. That's when I fell apart, right? I chalked that up to immaturity.
Yeah,
for sure. Because I don't mind bleeding.
Yeah.
Well, let's take that back. I don't like to bleed, but if I can make someone else bleed more, I'll give it a go. Right. That's always been my mentality. But then again, when life stacks up against you, 1, 2, 3 things at a time, I found out when I was younger, I tend to fall apart. I kind of went in a downhill spiral, hanging out with my boys a little more, going to happy hour, fucked around and got a DUI. I felt like a crook, a criminal. Yeah. I was embarrassed by it, and I'm not condoning it by any means. I shouldn't have, I should have took an Uber, whatever. It was, if Uber was even around back then. But I messed up. And that's something I had to live with. But to pull myself out of that hole, I found bodybuilding. Yeah. And so that's what it did for me. And I don't drink anymore. So I think that's my last time I drank. Almost a decade of not drinking.
I talk to people all the time about the test of a man is when they're at their worst, not when they're at their best. 100%. So you tear your tricep, you tore your quads. I've torn my quad. I've torn my tricep. That's the moment where you kind of decide like who you are and what you're made of. So where in your life did you decide? Because you said in the beginning when things were going badly for you, you would spiral downwards. And now you seem like you've kind of learned to use it to your advantage. Where did that change happen?
I think after that, when I found bodybuilding. For me, the older I get, I'm able to look back at my life kind of outside looking in and be like, man, why'd I do that? That was stupid, right? And break my life down in that sense and learn from it. If you can learn from it, cool. But if you keep making the same dumbass mistakes over and over again, you know what I mean? So for me, it sucks those things happen to me. It sucked getting the DUI. I haven't talked about that. I didn't talk about it for the first 5, 6, 7 years. I was embarrassed, man. I felt like I just felt like a criminal. I felt like a piece of shit. So, looking back at that and assessing like why that happened, it's totally what happened. I just fell apart because things weren't going my way. Like tore my tricep, it was a nasty tear. Yeah. So now the goal is to switch on. When shit starts hitting the fan, that's when you switch on, right? You bring out the tough mentality, the no days off and all that kind of crap. When life is good and things are great, you don't got to be hard like that. Like it's easy to be on point. Yeah. So for me, that's the exercise, right? Mm-hmm. It's almost like like switching a light switch on. I feel it coming. I feel the negativity or life just stacking things up against you. All right, so now's the time to buckle down, right? Start practicing those mental exercises, right? Harden up a little bit because people forget bad times don't last forever. Good times don't.
They feel like they are when you're in them. They feel like they're going to last forever, though.
Yeah. But everybody understands good times don't last, right? Because like the day before you have to fly back home from holiday, like damn, that shit went by so fast. But like when times are hard, you don't think, man, just buckle down, right? Just set your feet right. And then weather the storm. People don't feel like that. They just kind of they just fall apart. So and I was that dude. So this bodybuilding thing, as opposed to just transforming my body, is also a mental exercise as well. I think all the cardio that I was doing for all these shows, that's when I start watching videos, and start doing like the self-help stuff to utilize that time. It's a lot of time on that treadmill. So Yeah, so that's when I started practicing, like watching videos and just doing more self-help stuff. And it's been great, man. I've been doing that over the past decade. I'm not perfect by any means. I still got a shit ton of flaws. But if I were to look back at my life 10 years from today till now, I feel like my mental transformation is almost as significant as my physical transformation. And that's the goal. Because at the end of all this, like all the people that are following me on social media, they're following me for my physique, or guys that are bigger than me.
Yeah.
If you're just a weak guy or you're an asshole or whatever, when those muscles deflate, and they will deflate at some point, you're just going to be a shell of yourself. And you're going to be a little dickhead instead of a massive dickhead. I don't think all those people are going to be following you anymore, right? You get no love on social media anymore. So yeah, it's definitely a mental, for me, it's a mental exercise more than anything else. I feel like that's all the sports that I've done from track and field to MMA, jiu-jitsu to bodybuilding has all been a mental hardening, mental tough, a mental toughness building type of sports that I've been involved in.
Yeah. I think individual sports will do that to you, but I've always said to people, there's something about bodybuilding. I've always said one of the things I say more often than not is we're building character. We're not just building bodies. There's something about taking your physique from nothing and building it up that creates something inside of you, a mental strength inside of you, a confidence, a secure feeling that you can do kind of anything. And it kind of starts to translate to other areas of your life. And I feel like from listening to you, that's kind of what bodybuilding has done for you. It almost seems like it's built you up from days where you weren't as strong mentally to where you are now. Is that kind of accurate?
100%. But I don't feel like everybody can make that transition. I think it's hard to do. People are very good and very focused at one particular thing in their life. And I was just like that as well, like sports. I just migrate to sports. But to be able to grow and now apply that to other areas of your life, that's when the winning really starts happening, right? Because then life gets a lot easier. Yeah, some people just seem lucky all the time. That's not the case. They've just applied themselves in different aspects of their life, and then they seem lucky because shit's going their way because they force it to happen that way, right?
You're doing the work.
Yeah, 100% right. Is taking that mentality of now like trickling out to family, to business, and whatever else you want to put your hands on. Instead of just being so dead focused on one thing. Like you got to be able to apply that in other areas of your life.
So I agree with what you're saying, and I appreciate what you're saying. But do you also feel that, like, you've got your pro card now, and you earned your pro card at the North Americans or the Masters Nationals? Masters Nationals. You earned your pro card in Classic and Physique. And do you feel that even while we're saying that it helps build character, that to achieve the level you've achieved as a pro, you have to be somewhat tunnel vision or obsessed? Does that also come into play or no? Maybe not. So. Maybe sorry. Not. Let me just expand on it. Maybe not for the whole year, but when you're actually in that mindset of getting to the stage, is there a focus, or are you still able to do a bunch of other things?
It's both. I tried to hide the focus. If I'm single and doing my thing, I don't have to hide shit. If I'm tired, I can be tired. I don't have to entertain nobody. But because there's kids involved. There's a 12-year-old, 10-year-old, and there's an 8-month-old who's upstairs sleeping right now. I'm mom. He's with me more than he's with my wife. So there is dead focus. I don't even know how I competed last year. I did four shows last year, and I got sick afterward. At the end of it, I think the adrenal fatigue was just doing.
You're worn out.
And then I just started falling apart. It was my last show anyways, but I think my mind allowed myself to just kind of break down and fall apart a little bit. So on point, dead ass focus, but you have to hide a lot of that. Like when I come home, when I'm in the house, I just try to hide. Like that show or the competition is always in the back of your mind. It's like an app that's always running, right? I still gotta, I still gotta entertain the kids, the baby, the wife. You can't walk around like a lot of the bodybuilders. Because so I know I'm all over the place, but I feel like I've witnessed a lot of people, a lot of relationships fail. They've broken up, divorced, lost their jobs, all over competing.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And they aren't even pros.
Yep, I've seen it too. Yeah.
It's tough, and I think this sport is more suited for certain people than it is for other people. And I believe it is easier for some people to prep to get on stage than it is for other people as well. I feel like for me, it's easier than a lot of people to get on stage to prep for a show to get sub 5%,
Why
4%.
do you say that? You're just genetically more gifted to get lean? Is that why?
I don't want to say genetically gifted in that sense, but yeah, I've always been a leaner dude anyways.
Yeah.
And for me to starve myself a little bit, right, and be hungry, I'm okay with that. I'm busy through the day anyways. If I'm sitting and at a desk job, that'd be murderous.
Yeah.
I think what people screw up is when they have idle time, they're sitting down at night, on the weekends is when people mess up their diets.
Yeah.
When you're moving, you're running, you're ripping and running all day long. I can go hours without eating. So in that sense, I feel like that helps me. Plus, I don't mind the cardio as well because of my background. I don't mind doing that, 90 minutes of cardio or even up to 2 hours of cardio. Where people are like, man,
you do 2 hours. You do 2 hours all at once?
I can get up to no. I'll break it up.
You break it up.
Okay. I'll break it up throughout the day. Yeah, I'll break it up.
Yeah.
I'll do up to an hour at one session, no more than that.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. So you mentioned in the process of all that, you mentioned family. So how long have you been married?
Married September 18. So we're past the year.
So 2 years?
We're coming. We're at a year and a half now. We're at a year and a half now. It's been, and that's also been a learning process as well, right?
Mm-hmm. So you have 2 kids from a previous marriage?
It's a blended family. She had a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Okay.
And then we added an 8-month-old.
Okay.
But I'm dad. The girls call me dad. I take them to all their events. One's in gymnastics, which she does 6 hours a day. She's on a fast track. She wants to make the Olympics. I'm telling her what she has to do to make that level. Yeah. So she'll go in. I drop her off from the gym 6:30 in the morning till 9. She misses half an hour of school every day, and then she goes to school. And then at 3:30, she goes right back to gym again from 3:30 to 6:30. So someone has to take her to all that. Yeah. It's this guy. Yeah. Then the other one's in soccer. The 12-year-old's in soccer. Again, she plays soccer 4 or 5 nights out of the week as well. She between practice and competitions and stuff. And then so it's a lot of. Sometimes I'm dropping one off to pick up the other to bring one back to the house so she can get ready for bed. My evenings, my afternoons is I'm just an Uber driver, unpaid Uber driver. Nothing to do. It's the most unproductive part of my day. Yeah. From like 3:30 to 6:30, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night because I'm just hauling
just driving around.
Just driving, man. Not even getting paid. Just driving around. It's painful, bro. But those are the things you do when you care about them. You want to show them that I show them how I live. So I want them to emulate that and do that themselves. I don't care what it is you do. Just bust your ass. Work hard. Yeah. I don't care if you win or lose. If you try. Get your ass up and try something. You try. You give it your all. So that means I have to take them to badminton or whatever, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, so they can find their. They have to find their passion. So that's on me as well.
I've always been very envious of, or I don't know if I would want to say envious, but amazed of guys that compete that have children. So when it comes time for you to get on stage, what's a household like with 3 kids running around? Like, are they snacking in front of you? Is there Oreos out everywhere? Is there like,
yeah, I thought my willpower was strong. I mean, it was strong anyways, but it's easy when you're solo dolo because you just don't keep it in the house.
That's right.
Yeah. Like, the cravings aren't that hard where you're going to get in your car and drive down the street. Like, if that's how strong your cravings are, then this sport ain't for you. But most cats who do this, they're not going to get in the car to go drive down somewhere.
That's right.
So if you don't keep it in the house, you're gravy. But when you have kids, you can't not put snacks in the house. Like, they can't because they didn't sign up for this show. I signed up for it.
That's right.
And I don't want them to be like, oh, snaps, Dad's in prep. Everybody's walking around in eggshells. But that's not cool, man. Like, something's like, it's either I won't be allowed to compete anymore, or the household's gonna fall apart, like one or the other. If I'm walking around like that, so it's always an exercise to check your emotions, like your energy levels, right? Or especially around kids, and because they don't know. So I don't want them to. So there's like fruit roll-ups in there, all that crap I used to eat when I was a kid. That's all in the cupboards, right? I just stay out of it, man. The hard time is at night when you do have like an hour, 30 minutes to yourself to wind down a little bit, is not going in that cupboard and grabbing anything. It's tough. I take them out for ice cream too during prep. And so what I'll do is I'll have a couple bites, but I just know that that's extra time. I don't mind tacking on another 15, 20 minutes of cardio. Yeah. Just to give them an experience, and I want them to think that I'm not enjoying myself with them. So I'll plan that. I always give myself one cheat meal a week at least, especially all the way up until probably the last week or two. I'll give myself a nice massive cheat meal, and we'll save it for the weekends, and that'll be either the date with the wife or date with the family.
Yeah.
So that's how I keep that. We still have family time, and they don't have to worry about how, if I'm in prep or not.
It's an added element that like I don't have kids. So my wife, generally when I diet, she kind of decides to diet too, just to make it easier on me. So it's an added element I've never had to deal with. So like, kudos to you, man, for having 3 kids running around and not, being able to keep it together.
Yeah, it wasn't like I planned to do it. I just kind of had to. So I don't know if I should get that much credit for it, but I do notice now it is quite a bit different. Just what I thought was busy versus how busy my life is now. And, what I thought, it's the dieting portion of it, the discipline of it has to be a bit more precise and on point. Because now the baby's also eating food off my plate as well. The girls, they watch what we eat. I don't really do the old school bodybuilder diet where you're just eating chicken, broccoli, and rice. So now the girls are starting to see some of the vegan dishes that we're making, and they're enjoying it too. So they're eating. We have to calculate that and put in more food for them as well, so they can eat off of it as well. So.
That's something I wanted to get into, was the vegan side of it. So we were talking a little bit earlier before we hit record. One of the things you said that was interesting was that you plan your calories for the day, not for the meal. Because one of the things I had trouble, or I was struggling with, was how to calculate and diet for a prep with combining all those vegetables and getting the proper amount of protein, but not getting all the extra added calories from carbs and stuff like that. So how do you plan your day? Like how many meals a day are you eating? What's kind of the bulk of the food you're eating? Give me an example of a day in the life, food wise.
So during the maintenance or bulking phase, I don't have to be nearly as precise. I just want to make sure I'm getting above a certain calorie count, which for me is 3,500 to 4,000 is what I'm taking in. And then when you're plant-based, that's a shit ton of food, bro. It's stopped. So I don't, even in the off season, I don't eat. This off season, I'm eating like I'm still in season, because I'm not snacking, because I don't have the appetite for snacks now, because I'm eating these massive meals. And it didn't have to be nearly as precise. Of course, you want to get a certain protein count in, but if I'm 15, 20 grams over on carbs, so what, right? But as far as cutting, you do got to be quite a bit more precise, especially getting ready for a show. I haven't done this. I haven't done the vegan diet for a comp prep, and I want to. I want to eventually get into that as well. Right now, I'm just trying to tighten up for just to look decent at the Arnold. So it's kind of getting my feet wet with dieting off of it. And what I realize is that because you're not dealing with your rice, broccoli, and chicken, you could be really precise with cutting out, this much chicken and this many grams of proteins.
That's right.
Where when you're dealing with the vegan diet, you're piecing together proteins from different sources, either plant-based protein powder, or you're doing beans, legumes, chickpeas, different vegetables, spinach, kale, whatever. You're piecemealing all these different protein sources to get enough protein in, and you're tacking on the extra calories you're talking about for carbs. So instead of being so precise on one meal, for me it's just better just to get a general idea for the day. I want to hit this mark for my protein count, fats, and that way when you're piecing it together, and if you're using an app or whatever, you can see where you are throughout the day. You're getting closer to your numbers, as opposed to manipulating just one meal to make sure I get that much protein, that much fat, that much carbs. It's hard. It's tougher to do when you're on a vegan diet. But I do use a lot of plant-based protein powders as well. Like I can fill in the gaps and hit those numbers when I'm throwing that in.
So just so people know, you started the vegan diet back in October. So you didn't build your physique this way. You were eating a normal diet when you were fighting and everything. This is just a new thing you've started. What was the transition like? What was the transition period like when you went from meat to eating a vegan diet?
I went cold turkey. And it was it was an experience. The first thing I noticed was I was just going to the bathroom if I ate something, I was on the toilet like 5 minutes later. So like, man, 7, 8, 9 times a day, I was like, what is this? This can't be what all vegans do. You don't have time to do anything else. You don't have to talk. I called my buddy. I'm like, hey man. So he did this a couple years ago. I said, this is going to be kind of weird, but I'm going to the bathroom. If I eat something, I'm on the toilet 5 minutes later. He's like, yeah, that's cool. It's like that for about a week or so. You purge everything out of your system, and then things kind of slow down a bit. But to that point, though, gut health has been the biggest thing I've noticed as far as switching diets. So I'm not eating flesh anymore. So I'm way more regular. We're talking 3 times a day, or before I used to just be, even if 6 meals, 4,000 calories, I go once. That's it. Sometimes I even skip a day during comp prep season. When you get further into comp prep, I skip a day completely.
I've been there. Yeah.
That ain't normal. Yeah. So anyway, so being more regular with it, my gut health is better. There's less inflammation. And I feel like my metabolism is picked up. I'm eating a lot of food. I'm still relatively really lean. I noticed from my wife as well, when she jumped on board with me, her face looks different. Her face, same weight where she was a year ago to now. She's in pretty good shape now. I think she wants to compete to Arnold. So her face looks different. Her face was way more rounder, and you don't notice because if you're inflamed, you're always inflamed. Yeah. So when she took the meat out, her face got slimmer. And you look at a picture from a year ago to a picture from now, and her face is more chiseled out.
So less water retention.
Yeah, but I think it's the inflammation. Some people are also allergic to meat and don't even know. Like I have another friend of mine, her daughter is allergic to meat. Her eyes almost closed up. They said she would have died if she would have kept eating meat. So now she's forced to eat a vegan diet. I don't think the vegan diet, though. I'll go on record saying, just because I've switched over, I'm not going to be standing on a pedestal chanting that everyone needs to. For me, it was the one thing I didn't do to see if it could help my health. Okay. I've got the stem cell injections in my knees. I've seen doctors, physio guys, massage therapists, anyone under the sun for issues with my body. But I've never decided to cut meat and dairy completely out of my diet. That's the one thing I haven't done with my diet. And I thought, let me give that a go to see how my body reacts and responds to it. I wanted to give myself at least a full year to be able to assess that. And see.
So I saw some pictures of you, and even your bulk is not a bulk. Like you're pretty lean all the time. What have you noticed? My biggest curiosity is, and I shouldn't say this as a general statement, but just what I've seen. So what I've seen normally in a vegan physique is it generally looks a little softer. Is that something you've noticed, or you still feel like you look the same as when you were eating meat?
So far I don't notice any difference. I thought I was going to have a hard time keeping weight on, and for me, holding anything above 230 is pretty heavy. I'm 5'11", 5'10 and a half ish with my bone structure and physique. Anything over 230 is pretty heavy. The heaviest I've been was 237, 238 or so, and that was a year ago last year. And this year I hit 232 with some traveling and being ill. So I don't think building or maintaining on a vegan diet is too challenging. You got to eat more food for sure, and you have to plan your days out. But once you get into the routine, you'll find we all have our key meals we go to, right? And so once you have those key meals, then you're going to know the macros on those meals a lot better as well. But I feel like people aren't eating a whole lot of variety when they're not on a regular diet. So no different. We have our key things that we go to that are, we're creatures of habit. So eating these certain meals, these certain few meals I eat on a regular basis, and I plug in other things throughout the day. But so far so good. Again, until I get into a comp prep, that's when I'll really see like how much is going to affect my physique. But in the off season, I don't notice any different. Workouts are going good. I feel like my physique looks good. I'm a little bit leaner than I was last winter as well. So far so good. I don't notice any downfalls just yet.
It seems like such an intimidating proposition to me. Because I've considered it myself, and I'm not an animal lover. That's not why I've considered it. I mean, that would be a nice side effect of it, but I've considered it more for inflammation, for gut health. I've had a lot of injuries like you, and I've considered maybe that's why I keep getting muscle tears and things like that. And it just seems so intimidating to think of having to combine, because my whole career, vegetables have been a free food. I don't even know the macros on most vegetables. I just throw them in kind of whenever I feel like it. So trying to put together a diet and combine nutrients and create the proper protein amount and all that seems so daunting to me. I don't like, when you started, was it an overwhelming proposition, or did you just kind of just do the research and get into it?
Yeah, just like when I first started, when I first started competing, I didn't have a coach. I learned on my own, just doing my own research.
Yeah.
I just took it back to that. I just jumped online. It's just looking up everything. The thing is, I know that a cup of oatmeal has 54 grams of carbs in it, 300 calories. It's locked in your head.
Yeah.
But with the vegan diet, it's not. So for me, it's just looking at the can, looking at a back of a can of chickpeas or whatever, and then like memorizing the macros so I can portion everything out. That's all. Yeah. That's all it was really. Yeah. That was the most tedious part of it.
But for me, it wouldn't be the macros as much as it is, because the scary part for me is you have to know how many aminos are in this vegetable and what aminos are in this vegetable, so I know which vegetables to combine. That part's the confusing part to me, because now I got to research not only what macros are in the chickpeas, but what aminos does it carry, right?
Yeah, it's a lot more looking things up. Yeah. But again, once you do that, because we're not eating, our diet is we have like 5 or 6 meals that we like, right? So we've looked up everything in those 5 or 6 meals, and if we want to add something to it, then we have to, we have to look that up as well. But we have a good base now of these meals that we like with these macros, these micronutrients. It works, right? Mm-hmm. So, but again, that took time to build that out. But once you have those built out, it doesn't take much to add in one more thing or another meal, whatever. It just takes time to build that out. For me, what I was worried about was crossing over and then not being able to stick to it for a while and crossing back and then have to tell everybody. I'm like, because my mindset, right? You got to tell people, like,
you got to announce it. Yeah.
And then like 2 weeks later, I'm eating a steak, or I'm eating a chicken thigh or something like that. Yeah. It's cool. Like, now I'm the joke. So that's what I was worried about more than anything else. Yeah. Plus, my mentality of a vegan was outdated. I'm thinking like, man, I can't just be eating salads all day every day, man. That sucks.
Yeah.
So, I want to heal myself internally, but if that's what I got to do every day, that's torture. Yeah. So, but now with the meals that they have, I follow vegan food web pages, like vegan chefs, to get the ideas from them as well. That helps a lot. Instead of doing all the research by yourself, I jump on these guys' page, especially the vegan pages where they have a bodybuilding background. They're not just a yogi that's 145 pounds. Yeah, like these guys have built muscle off of a vegan diet. So I'll tap into some of those accounts too and look and just kind of do some research that way and learn from them. Mm-hmm. That's what I do. For me, I'll be 44 in April. So eating meat all my life, having a piece of meat on my plate sends a signal to my brain that I'm sitting down and having a meal. Yeah. Right. If that meat isn't on my plate, I'm like, what is this? Is it a snack? Or,
it's not a meat.
It's just a bunch of sides. Like,
how do you classify it? Yeah.
So I had a hard time with that as well. It's a psychological thing, man. I'm like, God, I want to get rid of that piece of chicken or meat or whatever, and then not have anything there. So I used some plant-based meat substitutes, which I don't feel like are the healthiest, but at least it took me off of eating meat first. Yeah. So it was a mental thing. Yeah. Now I don't have to have something that looks like meat on my plate at all, really. But initially, I had to have that there. Beyond Meat was the burger of choice. Yeah. It tasted pretty damn good, close to a burger. So I put that in there as a substitute or something like that.
It's a good transitional tool for sure.
It was massive. It was massive for me. So that was a big deal. So now knowing I don't have to just eat salads all day every day, that's what made me make the jump. The jump was a bit more easier to do then.
So one of the other questions I have always with vegan diets is, okay, so one of the studies I read says that our bodies don't absorb the aminos from vegetables the same way we absorb the aminos from meat. Now, whether that's debatable or not, obviously it's debatable. So I can't say that's for sure certain. But the question I have is, when you're in the gym and you're training, do you still feel the same level of strength, endurance, like power when you're lifting? Is it all feel the same, or do you feel like it's been reduced at all in any way?
No. And that's what I've been really kind of documenting and kind of keeping track on, because I want to know, is this going to affect my performance, either good for good or bad?
Yeah.
And yeah, studies are confusing, man, because you can skew anything how you want, right? Like Game Changers, I think that was a big, people were like shaking their head at it, but so I watched it, and the one key thing out of that entire show that I thought was compelling was the blood drawn from the NFL athletes after they just grilled chicken, right? A meat product versus a vegetarian a burrito instead.
But they gave him fattier meat though. Like
no,
they didn't give him.
One had grilled chicken on it, another one had beef.
But we're
talking grilled chicken though.
But wasn't it grilled chicken? But it was breaded though, wasn't it?
No.
I thought it was.
They asked one guy what he liked. Well, he ate this fool ate Popeyes before he played.
I know.
That was shocking to me.
That's the guy I remember. Yeah.
So he ate that shit before and he's an NFL. He plays in NFL.
That's right.
But the actual test was a burrito.
Yeah.
One was just grilled chicken, which shocked me because I thought, man, that's just the healthiest. There's no way that can do that to that person's blood like that. And then they gave him just a bean burrito, and then they compared the blood. And so I don't feel like you can skew that. The one looked like oil that came out of a car. Another one looked like oil that came out of a can. Very pure, nice and red. The other one had sludge. That was the most compelling part.
But see, I don't know enough about. I know I do have there's a registered dietitian that I've had on. His name's Chris Tuttle. And he had a whole argument about that for me. I don't know enough about it to argue the point. My only fear of the vegan diet is the studies I've read on absorption of aminos. That's really my only issue with it. But that's why I asked you, like, if you go in the gym and you were benching 315 while eating steak, and you're still benching 315 while eating chickpeas, then I don't really care. I mean, the proof is in the gym, is what it really is.
Yeah. And in your physique as well, if you are looking softer or you're not growing or you're not maintaining muscle mass. Yeah. And so
we covered the size, we covered the physique part of it. I mean, not diet yet because you haven't done the experiment of a contest prep, but we haven't covered the gym. So in the gym, when you're training, are you better, worse, or the same as before?
I feel like my performance is the same.
The same.
Yeah.
You're still the same strength, same power, squatting the same, everything's the same.
Similar strengths in most of my lifts. Of course, I'm always working around some kind of injury. Yeah. But I haven't noticed a loss in strength or size. So
that's far. Great. That's great.
So far so good. And like I said, I wanted to make sure I gave it a full year to assess because I don't feel like that any one diet is good for everyone. It's just not. You know. Some people are allergic to all kinds of different vegetables. So to be on just a plant-based diet would be rough for them because now they're taking out a lot of the superfoods that most people would use in a plant-based diet.
I like that you're taking that approach because people have a really bad view of vegans because they're so, I don't want to say they, but a lot of vegans are very adamant that their diet is the only diet and the best diet and this is the way everybody should be. Yeah. I like that you kind of have the approach that this is what I do. It's not for everybody. You kind of,
I think that comes from their moral standpoints. They feel so passionate, so strongly about it.
I see.
Mine's coming from more of a health standpoint. I do think it's cool that I'm doing my part to, we're killing less animals because I'm not eating chicken and beef all day long. Yeah. But that wasn't the reason why I made the switch.
I see.
And again, we're humans, man. We're all individuals. Yeah. We all have different elements, different issues. So to have this blanket statement like, this diet is good for everybody, or this product is good for everybody, this protein is good. Like it's not even like that in the medical world. Like this one drug is not going to be effective for everyone here. It's going to be effective for some of your patients, and it's not going to work for as good as for the other patients. So I don't feel like that you can't cast a blanket statement like that over everybody.
One thing I have noticed is the hemp. I bought a hemp pea protein, and the digestion is 1,000,000 times better than a whey. So we're coming out with our own supplement line. It's called Hostile Supplements, as you can see behind me. And we haven't done our protein powder yet. And I'm really, really torn now because the whey isolate has a whole bunch of studies backing the performance of it, which the hemp protein doesn't. But I've tried them both, and the hemp and pea protein blend, There's no foam when you blend it up. When you drink it, it feels like it digests really easily. There's no acidity. The acidity level is much lower than the whey isolate. So I'm really, really torn now about what we're going to do. But is that those are the type of proteins you're drinking, right?
Yes. But you guys have a whey.
We haven't come out with a whey yet. We haven't done a protein yet. So I'm torn right now between the two, because I tried the hemp and pea protein and it feels great, but all the performance studies are done on whey.
Yeah.
So a little torn about what we're going to go with.
On a business standpoint, you got to go with the whey, because you got to go for the general market first before you go for a niche market. But even with the niche market, it's with the pea proteins or the hemp proteins. It's also for everybody as well. It's for those people who aren't vegans, aren't vegetarians, but they have either a severe lactose intolerance or some kind of issue to the whey. They can still have the vegan protein powder, even though they're not vegan. It's just going to be a lot more mild and a lot more better for their digestion. They won't have the bubble guts. I think a lot of people are avoiding a whey because it tears their stomach up. And
I know.
Again, they're not vegan, so it can be for everyone.
Yeah. So you said you tore your quad tendons. You tore both?
Both. In how, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? Where did it happen?
Well, it's overuse and from weight training, but there wasn't a specific point where it just snapped and I tore my quad tendon. It happened. It happened over time, and it happened in one leg, and then it slowly started happening to the other leg because of compensation.
Okay, wait. I'm sorry. I need to understand this. So, did you have quad tendon surgery, or are you just afraid?
Yeah. So, okay. So about 5 years ago, I started getting severe knee pains.
Okay.
And it was on the top of my knees, my kneecaps.
Yeah.
So the quad tendon, not the patella tendon.
Yeah.
When I went in, I saw this doctor in Kansas City. He misdiagnosed me. He said I had chronomalacia, which is the wearing of the cartilage. He said, you don't have arthritis yet. That's the good news.
Yeah.
But you're missing cartilage behind both kneecaps. And he explained it to me in a more remedial way where, if there's tread on your tire, now the tread's gone, you can't put more tread back on the tire. You have to buy new tires.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm making a correlation. I got to buy new knees eventually, right?
Yeah.
So, that sucked. To hear that sucked. And then he had like a massive needle on the table because he wanted to inject me with the cortisone shot. And I wasn't mentally prepared for that when I walked in the room. So I saw that. I said, that ain't happening today. That's not happening, not my knees. Yeah. But also because pain is a good indicator that something is wrong. And if you take that away from me, I'm going to go back out there and do the same dumb shit I was doing that got me in this position in the first place, which is why I think a lot of pro athletes get hurt, because when the pain's gone, they feel healthy again, and they're not healthy at all.
That's right.
So, I denied that. And then went to this rehab, and rehab was just these, rehabs, the movements. I'm either used to getting bigger and stronger or getting more shredded, and you can kind of track that. But it's tough to track these movements that you're doing in rehab because it's just these funny little weird.
Nothing happens.
Yeah, nothing really happens, man. Yeah. You have to just trust the process and have this blind faith and do it, throughout the day, 3 or 4 times a day. So I did that for 6 weeks. I noticed a little bit of difference, but still the pain was still there. Yeah. And it wasn't until I met the doctor for the Kansas City soccer team, the pro soccer team. He had a look at me and he asked, before he even looked the ultrasound or anything, he said, if you warm up, do your knees feel better? Yeah. Yeah, it may take 3 or 4 warm-up sets, so I got like my warm-ups for my warm-ups. Yeah. But eventually they do feel better, where I feel like, okay, well, now I can add a little bit of weight and go in, and then your knees get numb and you power through a workout, and then you leave the gym and a couple hours later they lock up again and you're hobbling around.
The same way I am, man.
It sucks. Yeah. So he's like, well, then it's not a joint issue. It's a tendon or ligament issue because they warm up and they're stretched to more elasticity. That's why you feel better after the 4th or 5th warm-up set, right? Just enough to go in on the workout and then do cause more damage. Yeah. So that's where the frame was happening. He did the ultrasound. You could see, showed me exactly where the dark spots were, where the issue was. He said there's a bit of scar tissue there as well, because it's trying to heal up on its own. Yeah, yeah. So that which kind of makes it worse, really. Yeah. So he said we could do surgery, but again, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee. Stem cells versus a surgery. you're going to maybe get the same, similar results, just with faster recovery and no gnarly scars on your knees. So I'm like, okay, anything, I'll try anything before
surgery. Yeah.
And that's what it was. So we did the stem cell injections.
Where did they do that? Where did they do them in Kansas?
Yeah, in Kansas City. Okay. Yeah, it cost about $5,000. It was stem cells, and I could have gone back again for plasma, the PRP.
That's what I've had that over and over again.
Yeah, and I hear that's good for ligaments and tendons, but for actual joints, actual cartilage, stem cells is the only thing that has studies showing that it'll regenerate over time. It's a very, very slow process. So I did that last March.
What have you noticed? Have you noticed anything since? It's been a year almost.
Yeah. I mean, I was crawling around. Man. I was pushing myself out of chairs with my hands. I was limping around. I stopped training legs completely. I couldn't train legs. Going up and down steps was brutal.
You mean is this before the stem cells?
Before the surgery. That's what led me to go. Like, I hate to. I wish I was better at this. If I had an issue, I'd go see a doctor right away and sort it out. But I'm a hardhead, so I'll keep going and deal with some pain until the pain is almost too excruciating. I'm crawling into the doctor's office when I should have been there a year ago. So that's my dumbass fault. But still, better late than never. It took that for me to take my butt to go get sorted out.
Okay.
So I was.
So you got the stem cell in March, and then how long after did you notice that you started feeling better, walking around, training better, all that?
By May, I was doing body weight stuff.
Really?
No, I probably should have waited a little bit longer, but I had a fire underneath my butt. I wanted to go get that IFBB Pro card, right quick. My wife we had a bun in the oven. I think I jumped into comp prep because I was nervous.
Okay.
I was nervous about the baby coming. And I wanted to occupy myself. And so I decided to throw some competitions in there like an idiot, right? It did the job. I was occupied like a son of a bitch. But when I get nervous or I feel uncomfortable, I gotta be really busy. So I just went into comp prep. I should have waited a little bit longer, but started with the body weight stuff. And in May, I was on stage by June, July, and August.
Okay,
which is crazy. But I'm back to working out again. There's pain. I still suffer pain. Some days are better than others. I don't think I'll ever be 100%. But even at 80, 75, 80, 85%, I'm still able to get in the gym and do something. There's exercises I take out that I don't do at all. And it's all about foot positioning and just having total control and just really I'm able to do a lot more now, but again, I don't have the full range where I'm doing, just ass to grass squats and those kind of things and 1,000+ pound leg presses. Those days
they're gone.
Maybe they'll come back, but as of now, I'm not there yet. So, but again, I've come a long way from last March till now.
Yeah. The nice thing about it is, and I don't mean to diminish the pain in any way. The beautiful part about it is you got your pro card in men's physique, so you don't really need to show your legs.
True.
I mean, you got it in both classes. You got it in classic and men's physique, but you said you won the overall in men's physique.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where, does that mean the judges are kind of pushing you in that direction?
I don't know, because, there's different head judges.
That's right.
With different backgrounds, right? Some of the guys come from a bodybuilding background.
Mm-hmm.
Others don't. And I feel like the ones that have a bit of a bodybuilding background, like the more robust, thicker guys. I feel like they reward them a little more. There's other judges that like the guys, that are just built like a Dorito, where they're super wide up top, right?
Doritos.
That's not my physique. I don't have a 27-inch waistline. It might be under 30.
You got a pretty small waist, man.
Like these guys are getting on stage with 27-inch waistlines, man.
I know. I've seen some of them
That's
are crazy.
Smaller than my wife. That's unbelievable.
I don't know where their fucking organs are. I don't know.
Yes, right. Like, do you wear a corset? Like, how do you get that? And then they're bigger up top than a lot of the guys that are in classic physique, because there is no weight class. It's like taking a toothpaste and pushing all the muscle up to the top, and it's just shoulder caps and getting as wide as you possibly can. Yeah. So generically, I do feel like classic is more me. I'll fit in if I can put the size on my legs that I need to, because I don't have the extra wide shoulders, the thin waistline. I'm also capped out as far as size wise.
I was just going to ask you that. Where's the weight for your height?
Well, classic. I can be up to 215 pounds.
So you still have 15 pounds to go.
There will be 10
or
more
10
pounds.
more.
Yeah, 10 more pounds for me to grow into that category, which is fine. But with men's physique, there is no weight class, right? You weigh however much you want. It's just,
but if you put 10 pounds on your legs, I mean, you have a pretty phenomenal physique, man. Like I'm not trying to be a fanboy or anything, but it's a great physique. Like if you put 10 pounds on your legs, you'd be pretty fucking hard to beat.
Yeah, well, I don't know how hard I would be to beat, but I definitely I feel like I'd mix in with those guys.
You'd look
a lot.
You'd look very different with 10 pounds on your legs.
100%. But yeah, it's just a matter of can I do that?
Well, that's the struggle. That's the struggle that I think is when you have knee issues. That's the struggle. So now you're like, I got to put 10 pounds on my legs, but I have these, this issue holding me back.
Yeah.
But I think you also look great for men's physique. So it's a really tough call for you. You could compete in both, couldn't you?
Yeah, I think you just have to commit for the calendar year.
Oh, so you have to decide now, like this whole year.
Or my first, whatever show I do this year, I have to decide then. But I'm kind of chilling in this. I'm sitting at between 230 and 225 now. And I don't have a competition lined up. So I would like to, after the Arnold's, be able to devote some time to put some weight on and see what that looks like.
Yeah.
And if I can pack on the extra pounds on the legs, then go ahead in 2021, get out there and mix it up with the guys in Classic.
So just so I can clarify, so as of right now, you're committed to this year for men's physique?
I haven't committed to a show, period.
You don't know what you're doing yet? I
don't know. I don't know what it's been more of a business year, more of a year for the kids, but I'm still grinding. Again, I just want to see what kind of weight I can put on. It's tough, man, because when you don't have a weight class like men's physique, it's all a visual. We're just going by what the person looks like, right?
Yeah.
So I look at a guy like Kyron Holden. He took third in men's physique at Olympia last year. He looks big, robust, massive chest. I feel like the physiques are similar. He's just a little darker than I am.
Yeah.
but he looks great.
Yeah.
But no one's saying he looks too big. And I get my yellow butt on stage, and I got people telling me, that's all social media stuff, telling me I'm too big, right? No. Mind you look at Raymond, some of these other guys that are in Classic Physique, they're massive up top. They're bigger than a lot of the Classic Physique guys up top.
Yeah.
So, I feel like because I'm coming over from another division or another organization, I feel like people are just assuming that I'm a lot bigger than what I really am. But when I actually got on stage with the pro guys in San Antonio, I feel like I kind of fit right in. But I am kind of maxed out as far as how much size I can put on. I can't put on more size up top for that category.
Yeah. So more on the mental side of things, where I don't know how many bodybuilders you associate with or how much you read up on bodybuilding or involved in bodybuilding, but there's always the question, how do bodybuilders feel about classic physique or men's physique or those guys, right? How do you guys feel about the open class? How do you guys feel about where you fit? How do you feel about the prize money being what it is? Like, everyone's always asking me what I think of the other classes. What do you guys think of the way things are?
I don't know. When you say you guys, I don't know if you could put me in with all the other guys that do men's physique and classic, because I'm so new to the organization. But my take on it, I know a handful of the pro bodybuilders, and we get on quite well. I feel like I was surprised. Because you always feel like the bodybuilders don't quite give the guys respect enough on the men's physique and the class, which is fine. I get it. I get this. They're new categories, but I feel like the work effort is still there, though, right?
Yes.
The supplementation is different, but 100% is 100%.
I don't know if the supplementation is that different. I mean, maybe for you.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right as shit on that one.
Yeah.
But I feel like the effort in the gym is still quite similar, right? Like 100% is 100%. Whether my wife is going balls to the wall or I'm going balls to the wall, like it's the effort level. And I feel like if you're handling your business and you're also carry yourself in a certain way, you're going to get the respect from all divisions. For me, it's more of a personal thing, not a physique thing. I respect a man because of his thoughts and actions and his character. You get an awesome physique on top of that, that's even better. That's dope. But you're not getting my respect just because you got a dope physique. That ain't shit at the end of the day. Yeah. So that's how I feel. But I don't know.
But how about within the Okay, so those are your feelings personally. I feel the same way. If someone's going to work their ass off, they're going to work their ass off, and I think that's commendable, right? But how do you feel about it in the realm of the IFBB and the way the sport is today? Like, do you feel like you guys are represented well? Do you feel like it's fair? Do you feel like men's physique and classic guys are treated well? Like, is there any resentment? Do you feel like your guys are being treated the way you should be treated?
I feel like we still got to put in time.
Okay.
Right.
Why is that? Where's that come from?
Bodybuilding, it's been around forever, right? And the reason why there's visibility is because of the bodybuilders. I think things are changing because the average person don't care to look like that. And that's why, especially when you look at social media, the reason why the men's physique guys and class physique guys, really the men's physique guys are really killing it as far as the followings go. Yep. The average dude would rather look like that. And that's 100%. What's they're bringing, it's becoming more mainstream because of those other categories.
True.
So I do believe that they should be rewarded. But I do understand that we haven't been around as long, right?
Do you think it's because you have
tickets to go to the big show? They're purchasing these, $500 some tickets or more, not to see the classic guy, or not to see the men's physique guys. In my opinion, they're going to see the bodybuilders.
Why do you think that's what the question I had for you though? So it's kind of a dichotomy, right? It's like I feel like you're right about social media in a sense that people don't want to look like me; they want to look like you. They don't want to be 300 pounds; they want to be 200 pounds, 220 pounds, shredded, and even for some people, that's even too big, right?
Yeah.
So, but that's the way society deems what's like the prettiest physique, right? So that I totally get. But why do people pay the money to see the big guys in person? Like where is the separation is what I'm trying to say. Like why aren't they paying to come see the men's physique guys?
I don't know if I don't think it's just one particular thing because I grew up, I'm 40, I'll be 44 in April. Yeah. And I watched on the golden era days, you know?
Yeah.
Those guys are the guys I used to look at. I pick up a magazine every now and again. I wasn't a diehard bodybuilder. I didn't want to be a bodybuilder back then, but I did admire the physiques. I'm like, that's dope. I was like, if I could look like that one day, that'd be awesome. I kind of put it in the back of my head. Yeah. So it's been around for such a long time. It's a cult following. If you're in bodybuilding, you are in it. There's no half-ass. I kind of follow it. No, you're elbow deep in it. Right? You're going to Arnold's. You're going to Olympia. Yeah. You're tracking down the guy that you're a fan of. You're getting his signature. You're doing all that. Yeah. So I feel like it's starting to happen with the classic guys and the men's physique guys. We just haven't been around as nearly as long. So to have similar prize monies right now, that's unrealistic. But I do feel like the prize money should be growing in those other categories, and I think it's starting to happen. A bit of a trickle down, because when you look at like classic or men's physique, these guys it's not a part-time job. It's still a full-time job for these guys.
100%.
And they also have to supplement their income with either online training or have some kind of business within fitness to make a living. So to win that prize money at the end of the year and you only get like 20 grand or 25 grand. Yeah. You can flip burgers and make fries and make more money than that. So I do believe that there has to be a bit more of a kickback. Yeah. The guys at the top, the guys that eat, the open bodybuilders, they might not miss 10 grand coming out of their prize purse when your prize purse is
400,000. Yeah.
10 grand is like, this sucks, but you're not missing it. But if you trickle that down to the guys that are only making 20 and you add a few $1,000s onto their prize purse, that makes a massive difference. The money's a lot different down there than it is up there. Yeah. Like if they can at least show faith that they're moving in the right direction, the classes I think will become even stronger and bigger.
I think what I'm having a difficult time understanding is, why do you have 500,000 followers? Right? No. That wasn't the question.
I wanted that shit too.
That wasn't the question. I know why you have 500,000 followers. I'm saying there's more to the.
Ask myself that shit.
There's more. No, there was more to the question. I'm not sorry if that sounded bad. I didn't mean it that way. I meant it like.
I take nothing seriously, man.
I meant it like, okay, so you and a number of other men's physique guys, right? You all have 500 to 1 million followers, right? And all the bodybuilders have like 250 to 500. So we have far less followers. Why? But I just don't understand why the numbers turn out in person for the open class and not for the men's physique class if your numbers are so much bigger.
Because following somebody on Instagram don't cost you no money. You just click follow.
But is it because the physiques aren't? Are people paying the bucks to show up and see the freak show? Is that why they're paying the money?
I would have to assume so.
So the men's physique guys aren't freaky enough. Like someone can say, well, you know, that there's a guy in my gym that's not that good, but like he looks like a men's physique guy. I don't have to, but I've never seen a 300-pound guy shredded on stage.
Yeah. Because you'll see men's physique guys in any gym, really.
There's usually one or two. Maybe not pro caliber, but like, you know, they have nice physiques.
Yeah, and maybe it's the availability. Also, like, we run social media a bit different than old school bodybuilders.
Yeah.
How
so?
And it's tough because I'm older.
Yeah.
So I understand that era as well, but I'm learning from the younger guys also. It's a marketing thing as well.
Yeah.
Your typical old school bodybuilder, they seem unapproachable, right? It's just a look on their face because they're not walking in like rubbing elbows with everybody. They're coming in the gym, getting their workout done, they're fucking off.
That's right.
They look like they don't want to be talked to. And they also present that on online as well. They're not doing it with the business mindset that I need to appeal to a bigger mass also. They post, and their posting is a bit different. Where I feel like my page isn't my page anymore.
Why?
Right?
I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn from you right now.
I'm the moderator of it, but I can't post the memes that I want to post.
Yeah.
Without offending, you know, there's 600 people there, so I'm going to offend half of them at least. We also live in a different time where they take things, they take the smallest things and they get offended by it. So I got to be mindful of what I post. I stay away from a lot of memes that I'll send it to you in the DM. So, but I'm mindful of that, where I feel like the bodybuilders are like, fuck it. If you don't, this is who I am. You like it or you don't like it. I don't give a shit, whatever. Yeah. Right. And people follow that because they're into the bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But I feel like people are following me because they get a sense of my character. It's a bit different. Not just following me for the physique. Oh yeah, physique's dope, cool. But like now that I'm listening to this guy talking, I'm reading all his posts, I'm watching his stories. He has a common theme going on, and I vibrate on that same frequency.
But wait a minute, I want to push back a bit because that seems a little bit like it should be in reverse. So you said there's certain things you won't post because you're focused on marketing. You don't want to offend people. But you said
not that I'm focused on marketing, but it's not a good.
You're trying to appeal to a broader spectrum of people.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I don't want to offend people with dark humor or this offset humor.
Yeah.
That I feel like because they don't know me they don't really know me as a person.
No, I get it.
People that know me as a person, they know they know I have a good heart. They know they're not judging me from what I'm sending them. They can take it for what it's worth and laugh at it. I can't be so freely. I do have to have a filter because I'm talking to a general mass of people.
I get it.
That don't really truly know who I am.
But I'm not trying
to tarnish my image by putting stuff out there, and they don't know where I'm coming from. You know, so I stay away from a lot of topics that way. Where I feel like bodybuilders don't give a shit. You either like me or you don't.
But I feel like that's more. See, I'm one of those bodybuilders that doesn't. I won't say I'll post anything, but for the most part, people kind of know who I am. Yeah. I feel like that's kind of showing your personality. So they're not following me for physique because I haven't competed in 3 years. They're following me for personality. So isn't that more the way to go if you're...
Maybe you're different though, because this is what you do. Like you do podcasts, you're all over YouTube. Yeah. So, but a lot of bodybuilders don't show their person. Like,
I see what you're saying. So the more the silent guys are just
cold. I'm hard as fuck. That is what it is, and you can kiss my ass or you can roll with me. I don't care.
I got
the kind of old school vibe that I get from a lot of bodybuilders. The younger guys are quite different. I talked to a few of them, some of the South African bodybuilders, and some of the newer guys. They are a bit different. I think they're younger, they're fresher, and I think they're more in tune to grow on social media. right? And to cater to a bigger audience.
I think a lot of the bodybuilders, especially the new ones coming up, like you said, are starting to realize that you guys kind of have it right. Like the way that you guys are marketing yourselves online is kind of what we need to be doing.
Yeah.
Because the age of just don't look at me, don't talk to me, just look at my physique only, that's kind of gone. Like you can't really be that way anymore.
Yeah, it's changed so much. Even in the beginning of like these social media influencers didn't even compete. They're like fitness, I don't know what you call them.
Yeah.
Fitness influencers.
Influencers, yeah.
Yeah. From back in the day, even when Instagram first started, you can just take a shirt off if you're shredded, take a picture against somebody's dope ass car, and then have like an inspirational quote.
Yeah.
Right. And that's your post for the day.
Yeah.
That doesn't even fly anymore. Nobody gives a shit about that anymore. Like there has to be substance.
Yeah.
And the social media crowd is very it's a younger crowd, but it's also they expect a lot more.
I was going to say demanding. Yeah.
Very. It's a sense of entitlement, right? Because they're on your Instagram page asking you for certain shit for free.
Yeah.
You know, like, hold on, I didn't know that you subscribe to this isn't a subscription site. You're not paying me, and you're demanding me to make these videos, right?
Yeah.
Talk about chest more, how you built your chest. Like, bro, I'll come out with topics I want to talk about. This is my page. I talk freely on my page. If you want to ask me specific questions, you can do what my clients do, and then you can jump over here to my webpage and you can sign up for a program and you can ask me all the questions you want.
That's right. That's right.
Stay with authority. But people are doing that and they don't. And that's how social media is ran now. Like you have to give them something of value. You have to create value, and then they follow you for that. Gone are the days where you got abs and they follow you for that shit because everybody got abs if they work. Most guys in the gym they're gonna have some sort of abs if they compete. Yeah. So now you can't just be shredded. You have to give them some sort of value.
It took me a long time to realize that. For a long time, I was like, you could sell your 8x10s or you could do your online coaching or you sell your t-shirt or whatever. And you just put it up and people would buy it. There was nothing, you didn't have to do anything to earn their money. And I feel like now because of social media, because there's so many different options that you just got to roll with it. This guy's giving away that thing for free. That means you got to give it away for free or else they're just going to go over there.
Yeah, so the competition is stiff, man, because everyone's available.
That's right. So you mentioned, before you go, I want to ask you about business. So the business of bodybuilding, you seem to have capitalized on it. What is your main business? Like I noticed you have a couple sponsors. You're sponsored by Vanquish. Who else are you sponsored? EHP Labs, I think.
EHP Labs. Those are the two of my main sponsors.
So I want you to tell people how you landed. People are always asking me, how do I get sponsorships? How did you get those sponsorships? Because they're big sponsorships. So what should people do? Like, how did you do it?
I didn't go in for the sponsorships. I think that's the difference between when I started back in 2010 or 11 or whatever versus now. Because again, Instagram is what kicked everybody up. Yeah. Now people are coming into the sport, never competed before, and they only want to compete to get the sponsorships and all that. That's backwards. I just did it because I wanted to pour my heart into something else.
That's right.
And through that, develop my physique the way it developed because I was passionate about it.
Yeah.
I wasn't asking for sponsor. Well, I get messages of people asking for sponsorship. They haven't even fucking competed yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's like not graduating and you're looking to get like, no, I want an upper level management position. Does you have your high school diploma yet? No. Well, go get your high school diploma first, right? Get some accolades, right? List those accolades, and then you reach out to companies and show them your worth. If you're coming with nothing on the plate, like ask with your hand out. Like people aren't in the business of giving shit out for free.
Yeah.
No one's in the business. Like this ain't a soup kitchen.
Yeah.
These companies, they want to help, but they also want something back in return, which is visibility for their product. And the more visibility you can provide them, the more you get for that. Right?
So did you go to them or did they seek you out?
They seek me out. I was actually in Taiwan looking to start my own clothing line when Vanquish reached out to me when I was in Taiwan.
Really?
I was meeting with just different shops and just testing out fabrics and stuff. And these guys hit me up. And
so you decided to take it?
Yeah. We laughed about it a year later. I told them what I was doing. But I was with a different clothing company for 4 years.
You seem like you've traveled a lot. You've been everywhere, it sounds like. Every time you tell a story, you were in a different place.
Yeah,
What's
man.
that? What's that about? What's that about?
Yeah, because okay, so with the IFBB though, like all the shows are in the States.
Yeah,
right?
pretty much. Yeah,
Tons of those. You don't have to travel abroad.
yeah.
But when you're with a different organization that's popping up elsewhere,
that's
you
why.
have to
Okay.
travel a little more. Yeah, so the men's physique classic guys aren't used to traveling like the open bodybuilders are.
Yeah.
I'm used to traveling and competing. So flying to London and sourcing out my food there, and during peak week, that sucks. But you learn how to do that quite well on the road. So that's why. That's why.
So you got the sponsorships. What other business? Do you have clients? Obviously, you just do online training, or do you stuff in the gym too?
Yeah, I do online training. I started off in the gym. That's kind of where my passion's at. Seeing mm-hmm. someone, on a regular basis and learning everything about them as a client, and then seeing that transformation happen is a dope. It's better than, for me. It's better than comp prep. Yeah. I like seeing that and seeing people get empowered and walking off feeling a whole lot better than they did when they first came in that door. But the way things are now, with me being in Canada as well, kind of going back and forth between the States and here, I've been here for the past year mostly. I've decided to go completely online, and that's been going quite well. So I have some clients in Canada, US, Australia, Africa, with a lot of clients. So that's what allows me to be able to raise my 8-month-old boy. Well, we have a gym also here in Calgary as well.
Oh, like your own studio?
Yeah, it's about 5,000 square feet with 3,000 square working space.
Nice.
Offices. We have some massage therapists in a couple of rooms as well. So my wife spends a lot of time there throughout the week. So I'm Mr. Mom at home with the baby while I'm doing the online coaching.
Does your wife compete too, or no?
Yeah, she was also with the WBFF for a while, and I feel like she's wanting to make her debut crossover.
She hasn't crossed over to NPC yet.
No, not yet. So she's wanting to do that this year with the wellness division.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that's pretty cool.
On that bikini. And so the thicker girls had nowhere to go. It's either you had to pack on muscle and get super shredded, or that's it. You had to be tiny as heck. So she's put on some LBs in the right places. She's going to jump over in that wellness category. I'm not mad about it.
No,
I'm not mad about it at all.
That's all right, man.
Yeah.
So everything's going well for you. So you don't know what show you're going to do yet. You're kind of.
I wish I did. I want to have all the hope and optimism about putting the weight in the right places, and mainly quad sweep, man. That's it. If I put some quad, and it's because of the quad tendons is the reason why I couldn't put on weight in the past few years, but they do feel better than they have been in a couple of years. So again, just using different techniques. Gone are the days where you just squat heavy and that's it. I got to be a lot more creative. I used to make fun of the Smith machine when I was younger, but now I'm a Smith machine fool.
I love the Smith machine.
You know what I mean? I feel like, like the Blade, man, he talked about his comp prep and all he does is use machines. And he's outlasted everybody. He's still going strong, competing against guys half his age, and everybody else is retired, sitting on the sidelines watching.
Man, that's the common debate that we all have is Dexter's way the best way, or is Ronnie's way the best way? Because, Ronnie's been through hell, but could Dexter have been as good as Ronnie if he trained with free weights? It's just this really debatable thing, right?
Ronnie's was the best way for him to look the way he did and win. Mm-hmm. But I think for longevity, as you Dexter's, Dexter's, it just depends on what you want, man. You want to win
at all costs,
everybody for a couple of years, and then I think quality of life after, and that's where I'm at too. If I put this weight on my legs and do it, and by any means necessary, am I going to be walking around at 55, or am I going to be on crutches?
That's true.
Telling stories of how I used to be this, that, and the other, but I'm hobbling around and people are feeling sorry for me. Which I don't know. What's the win? Like, what's the real victory here? So I'm trying to find that fine line too. Like I really want to put this size on my leg. I want to get out there on classic. I just like the physiques. Out there in classic physique.
So I have one more question before you go. As it's my own personal question as an open class bodybuilder, and I'm going to speak for all the bodybuilders, even though I don't really speak for all the bodybuilders. Is it true that like a men's physique competitor? I think part of the reason open class bodybuilders have a struggle with it is because our job feels like it's 24/7, 365. If you're not getting shredded, you're bulking really hard and trying to get every pound you can on your body. So there's no time to go party. There's no time to take a night off and fucking drink your face off or anything like that. Whereas as a men's physique competitor, once you've reached a certain size, you kind of like, I don't know, you can take it easy. And I guess maybe that's a misconception. Is it a misconception, or is that accurate? Because I feel like that's why we feel different. You know what I mean?
I believe it's slightly true. But if you look at the progression of men's physique, so again, I was at the WBFF before men's physique came out. Yeah. So like, I didn't have an option because I wasn't going to be open bodybuilder. I knew that. So that was the only really option for me. Other than these other smaller organizations that you just get no clout, no recognition whatsoever. So then a year or two later, they came out with men's physique. Yeah. And I was looking at pictures back then, like Sadiq was one of the guys, Steve Cook was one of the guys, and you look at them, they looked soft. Yeah. They looked over dieted. Yep.
They wouldn't place nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah, no, not even close. And so Sadiq left, right? He left for a year or so to put on some size to go into Classic because he felt like he was done with his physique now. But then after a year of Classic, he came back around. So 2 years have passed by. He came back around to men's physique, and the guys look completely different. Yeah. They're completely different. They look nothing. Yeah. Again, the upper bodies now became bigger than a lot of the Classic physique guys. That's true. So it has – there's still been – you're going to battle that in any category with men because men just want to get bigger, stronger, and faster, whatever they do over time. Yeah. Right? They don't want to just get to a certain point. Now they're just going to dumb it down for this physique. I think a lot of guys end up trying to cross over because like they hit that point. And that's what I'm trying to do because
I see what you're saying.
Physique down, right? So I'm going to put on – if I can put on the weight, I'm not going to hold back by not put on the weight. If I can put on the weight, I'm going to put that weight on and I'm crossing over.
Okay, so my misconception of the lack of work, not the amount of intensity of work, but the amount of time and effort is probably misconstrued. You guys are putting in the time and effort.
No, because I can't speak for everybody. Because there's some guys who don't touch legs at all because they know it's not going to be judged. So I think it's a case by case kind of situation. But I do believe a lot of guys are going to stay in men's physique and they won't make the switch. They're happy being there, and that's where they feel like their physique is good for, which is fine. Yeah. But there is a lot more leeway then. If you're kind of capped out with your body weight, all you got to do is just keep coming in and shredded. Yeah, you
can take some time off and hang out.
Time off. Yeah, you can take time off and just go into prep then. Really.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, there isn't that much.
I have a valid argument then.
Yeah, 100%. You do. But for me, for my case, I don't drink. I don't do any of that stuff. I'm in comp prep all year round. I keep track of my macros. How do you stay lean in the off season?
I noticed that about you.
I track. I don't just track for 12 weeks. I track 12 months. I do. And then when I get lean, I stay lean for 6-7 months out of the year. And so I've never really given myself a proper bulk season for quite some time now.
I got to ask you something, and I was trying to stay away from this, but I want to ask you anyway. And you can answer it if you want, or just we can pass on it. Is the supplementation side of it part of the reason you can stay lean so long, or are you just very, very focused on your diet?
I would say no, because I start off natural, 100% natural for a long time. Yeah. And I also got started in the sport a lot later as well. Yeah. So I feel like I learned how to diet as a natural athlete.
That's important. I feel like it's really important.
I've also coached a lot of natural athletes as well. Yeah. There's a big difference between coaching a natural athlete and coaching an athlete who supplements.
Enhanced, yeah.
Because there's a lot more leeway. You don't have to worry about muscle tissue just disappearing and vanishing off a body. Yeah. So that's first and foremost. And I feel like people supplement too much. They rely too heavily. Yeah. Right? They're quick to up things. So where do you go from there, though?
Yeah, right? yeah.
I think a lot of the younger guys don't think about having kids later in the future. They don't think about any of the ailments or the issues they got to deal with. They just want to win. So but I feel like if you diet right and you train right and you just sprinkle a little like Salt Bae, you're half natty, that can go a lot further off physique. Yeah. And I do believe there's certain genetics and certain body types that respond to little, or some that respond to a lot. And if you're lucky, if you're one of the guys who responds to a little bit, right? And then you'll have a lot more longevity in the sport. But 100% the dieting. I'm a leaner guy anyways.
Dude, I've looked pretty extensively through your Instagram. I haven't seen one picture of you out of shape.
Yeah, I did one year. It might have been 5 or 6 years ago. I was desperate to hit 230 anywhere I could, and I looked like I did whatever I could. It looked like shit. I've never been. For me, that was the first time I've experienced being fat. Mm-hmm. And the moment I went outside and that shirt pressed up against the wind pressed the shirt up against my gut, I realized I would never do that again.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Let's say throughout the week, you're on your vegan diet. You said your cravings are better. How often are you cheating? Because I need to know how you stay in that kind of shape. Because now that I'm not competing, it's easy when you have a goal. Like if I'm getting ready for a show, I'm a soldier, right? If I don't have that fear of being on stage in my underwear, I'm not as strict, right? So are you okay? What in a week, are you cheating a lot, or is your diet just set up in a way that you're pretty good and you're cheating one time a week?
Yeah, I'm pretty much on a once a week type of deal. Sometimes not even that, because we just don't have time to get together as a family.
And that's all year round.
Yeah, it's all year round.
That's crazy, man.
I feel like also on this vegan diet, I am eating a lot of flavorful foods. We're using a crap ton of different spices. We found an Indian restaurant here in town that's vegan, so we've kind of copied a lot of some of their stuff to take the curry spices and that kind of stuff to really jazz up the meals, and they taste freaking amazing. Mm-hmm. So when I'm getting those kind of flavors, I don't feel the need to cheat as much. And again, because I'm eating the vegan diet, the portions are stupid. And the calories aren't really as high. So I'm full all day long. I don't feel like snacking. I don't feel like eating candy or cookies or whatever. I just don't feel that because I need to clear out some room for the next meal I'm going to eat. I'm barely having enough space to do that, time to do that. I'm not hungry. I'm forced feeding myself these proper meals, and I don't want to snack because I'm just not hungry at all.
You know what I find? It's actually crazy that you say that, because for a little while I was going really heavy on the vegetables because I was trying to increase my micronutrients in my diet. And even though I wasn't vegan, obviously I was still eating meat, but even with the addition of a good amount of vegetables, I noticed that my cravings went down. So for those of you out there that are, you don't want to go vegan, but you're trying to control your diets, I think adding a lot of vegetables is a good way to also 100%. Do that.
Yeah, you top yourself off, you feel completely full, and you're not taking in very many calories at all. So that my snacking is dropped tremendous. I've never been a huge snacker anyways. Like even in the wintertime, I kind of monitor. I'll do twice. Last year I was doing twice a week. Wednesday, sometime midweek, and then on the weekends because we were doing something as a family. Yeah. But now, even when we go out, we're looking for vegan spots. So
do you ever cheat by yourself, or do you always have to make it like an event with you, with your wife, or with the family?
I'm never by myself anymore. Ever.
Okay, but what I mean is like, that's
the point, because that's hard for me because I'm an only child. I grew up kind of solo dolo. I like my own time. I like my own space. I don't have to entertain anybody. I'm cool. I can keep myself occupied for days and not say a word. Yeah. And now I don't have that. Like this is the longest time I've had, like with no one tap me on the shoulder, ask me for something.
And I'm here bugging you.
I was like this is happening when I'm talking to Fouad. We're doing an interview. Yeah. So this is the time that I get today, because after we get off this, my free time is gone.
I'm sorry, dude.
It's all good. It's all good. So this is more time than I usually get. But so I don't really have. I don't. I'm home all day long too.
But what I mean is, like, I tried to set up my cheat meal so that it was an event with me and my wife. That way it'd be like, okay, I'm not. But there are times where I'm like, I just want to cheat. So sometimes if she's out doing something, I'll just get a burger by myself. And then I feel fat because I'm like, I'm just cheating for no reason at this point. But
you skip your other meal though? You're like, I'm good this week. I'm good this week, babe. And you don't tell her?
No, I'll tell her. Yeah, I'm not. But what I'm saying is, like, do you ever just cheat by yourself, or is it always an event?
I feel like it's always an event. I can't recall the last time I'm not saying I've never done that before.
No, I know.
But I can't. Since
I only say that because I feel like it's a good practice, because I feel like you're less likely to cheat if you've added it to an event. You know what I mean? Or at least if you are going to cheat, then you've added a social mental aspect to it that's going to fulfill you that way too. And it's not just you stuffing your face for no reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For me, I do like the date night because it makes it into,
And a whole thing. Yeah.
As opposed to me just like pulling off into like a fast food joint, ordering,
grabbing a Big Mac,
sitting in my car and smash it before I come home, and then I gotta make sure I don't smell like French fries when I walk through the door. Nah. Again, recently I just haven't had the cravings to just go off the deep end and just pound anything really. Yeah. So I'm here, and it helps being home a good portion of the day because I'm in the cupboard. I just got to stay away from the kids' snacks. Yeah. All the healthy stuff is in there.
That's good. Listen, I've kept you for a long time, and I know this is your free time, so I apologize. But before you go, I always let everybody kind of say, is there anything a message you want to put out there, or a sponsor you want to thank, or anything you want to say kind of before you go? I always kind of give people a chance to kind of get a message out if they want to.
Of course, yeah. One, thank you for having me on the show. I know I'm not your typical guy that you have on the show.
No, it's fun, man.
I was following Patrick Moore, and which insane physique, man. He's one of my favorite physiques out there in that open bodybuilding. I know everybody's like, hey, he's small, whatever, but like, bro, he's new.
Yeah, he's beautiful.
Time's gonna change all that. This time, he has a beautiful physique, man. Tiny waistline, very classic, and then he has the personality and the character to go with it. Which in my book, those are the only connection I'm trying to make. Just a good, strong character, man. Yeah. And to follow that, that's big. So thank you for having me on the show. Of course, I want to thank the followers because again, I'm just a 44-year-old dude with gray in his hair who likes to work out. Yeah. And I joke around a lot. I kid around, just like to have fun. But I'm very passionate about what I do, and I appreciate people realizing that and following me for that. Of course, Vanquish, my clothing sponsors, EHP, my supplement sponsors. And you guys can always find me at AJ Ellison, AJFit.online if you're looking for any kind of nutritional guidance or personal training.
Okay, man. Awesome. I appreciate you coming on, man. And thank you so much for the time. I know we ran a little longer than we're supposed to, but thank you very much.
Good. I've been watching your shows here and there, man, like I said, and to be on the show. When my manager called and told me, I was like, what? On
man.
Show?
Yeah, man.
So, listen, thank you. I appreciate it, man.
Listen, the whole show is about putting bodybuilding in general, and I know your men's physique or classic, but I still consider it bodybuilding. It's all about putting everybody in a better light and letting people get to know who the guys really are deep past Instagram posts and past all that. So I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, man. We'll talk to you soon. We'll come on again. We'll get an update maybe later in the year about how things are going.
That's what's up.
Okay, brother. Thank you very much. All right.